Something shifted the moment you arrived here, and you didn't catch it when it happened. The quantum field isn't casting wide signals out into the open, hoping someone tunes in. It moves with precision. It locates specific awareness at specific moments of maximum openness and delivers exactly what that awareness is ready to hold. This moment, right now, as your eyes move through these words, as your focus settles here, this is not a moment that was available to you yesterday. It is not a moment that will return tomorrow. It is now. And now is when the field has determined you are ready. You did not choose this. This chose you. The algorithm, the curiosity, the open window of time you happen to have right now, none of that is coincidence. The quantum field has been working behind the surface of your life, arranging the conditions, timing the encounter, placing you in this seat at this exact moment. Because what is about to be transmitted to you can only land once, in this precise arrangement of consciousness, in this exact configuration that will never repeat. Take a breath, a full one. And as you breathe, notice what's different. Your attention right now has a quality to it, a stillness, a sharpness. That isn't how you normally move through information. That isn't this content pulling you in. That is your consciousness having already been prepared, already tuned, already opened by the field to receive what is about to arrive. Everything in your life up to this point has been moving you toward this. Now let's go deeper. Before we enter the heart of what's being transmitted here, let's first establish something important. You were not selected randomly. The field does not reach out to every consciousness with every transmission. There are thresholds, and you have crossed one. The signs have been there. And if you slow down, you already know exactly what they are. You have been noticing patterns that shouldn't be possible. The same. Numbers appearing at moments that feel loaded with meaning. Information arriving from completely separate sources at the same time, pointing towards the same thing. Conversations that seem to answer exactly what you were privately thinking. Events landing with timing so precise it strains the boundary of probability. These weren't the universe being decorative. These were the field demonstrating its reach, building your trust, preparing you to recognize this very moment as part of the same orchestration. If this is already landing somewhere real in you, take a second to like this video and subscribe. It helps this transmission reach the people who are ready for it. Now let's keep going. You have been carrying an urgency that you couldn't quite name or explain. Not a vague desire for more, something specific. A pull toward a knowing you could sense was near but hadn't yet arrived. That urgency didn't come from anxiety or restlessness. It came from the field-building pressure inside you, creating an opening, widening your receptivity, so that when this transmission arrived, it would land somewhere prepared, not somewhere defended. You have been watching reality move in response to you in ways it didn't used to. Intentions forming and then showing up. Internal shifts creating external changes faster than logic can account for. Reality feeling less like a fixed structure you move through and more like a living field that responds to you. That wasn't your imagination getting ahead of itself. That was the field giving you a preview, showing you what you're actually capable of participating in, so that when the deeper understanding arrives, you would already have evidence to stand on. Your life has reorganized itself in ways you didn't plan. Relationships that had been fixtures shifted or disappeared. Circumstances that felt permanent broke open. What you thought was stable turned out to be temporary. and what you thought was impossible began to feel within reach. These weren't disruptions happening to you. The field was clearing the space around you, repositioning you, removing what would interfere with what comes next. The reorganization was intentional. You were being prepared for a different role than the one you were living. Something in you has been pulling away from the collective noise. The headlines, the social media cycles, the surface-level conversations. They've started to feel like they belong to a world you're no longer fully in. The concerns that animate most people around you don't land the same way they used to. That wasn't you becoming cold or disconnected. That was extraction. The field pulling you back from frequencies that carry interference, quieting the static so a clear signal can finally come through to you without distortion. And beneath all of it, there has been a knowing. Not a fear about the future, a recognition. Something is approaching. Something is already in motion. I am being moved toward something. That knowing has been rising steadily, and it peaked right before you landed here. That was not a premonition of something far off. That was your awareness already sensing this moment before you consciously arrived in it. Here is the final confirmation, and it matters. Part of you resisted clicking on this. Something said you didn't need more content about consciousness. But something older and quieter than that voice brought you here anyway. That wasn't willpower. That was the field overriding the resistance. Because what is in this transmission is too precisely timed to your current state of readiness to be missed. Your presence here, despite that initial hesitation, is not coincidence. It is confirmation. Something is happening as you read this that goes beyond taking in information. There is a transmission occurring right now, not as metaphor, but as actual energetic event between the field and your awareness. Can you feel it? Notice how different your attention feels compared to when you first arrived. More anchored, more still, more present. Almost as if something is receiving through you rather than you simply receiving content. That is because the field does not wait for your conscious mind to give permission. It is already using these words as a carrier, a frequency vehicle for something that travels beneath the language. Bring your attention to your body right now. Something is happening somewhere in it. Warmth or pressure or a kind of vibration. At the crown, the chest, the base of the spine, the center of the belly. The location is different for each person, but the event is real. This is not your mind generating a response. This is your system recognizing the transmission and beginning to integrate what is arriving. Breathe again, and as you do, understand something you may not have considered before. You are not inhaling air into a separate body that exists apart from the field. You are the field breathing through a temporary localized form. The quantum field is not somewhere outside you, sending signals toward you from a distance. It is the substance of what you are. It is what you're made of. This transmission is not external information arriving at a receiver. This is the field recognizing itself through the particular perspective you carry. The message is not coming to you from outside. It is arising from within the unified intelligence that you already are. Here is something the original framing rarely reveals clearly enough. The field doesn't communicate primarily through language. Language is the pointing finger, not the moon. These words are carriers. But what is being carried is energetic, and it will settle into your system as knowing rather than as information. After this, you will find yourself certain of things you cannot logically justify. You will understand things that did not come through the pathway of analysis. That is not spiritual bypassing or wishful thinking. That is what direct transmission feels like when it lands. The activation in your system right now is your awareness making room, temporarily stepping aside from its usual filtering role so that what is being transmitted can install directly without distortion. And here is something worth sitting with before we move forward. Most people, when they encounter this kind of transmission, receive it partially. The mind engages, the intellect finds it interesting. But the deeper layers, the body, the emotional center, the cellular awareness beneath thought, those layers stay behind their usual defenses. What makes this moment different for you is not the content of the transmission alone. It is the configuration of your readiness. Your system, right now, is more permeable than it usually allows itself to be. That permeability is not weakness. It is the opening the field has been working toward. Let it stay open. Don't contract back into analysis. Let the transmission move through all of you. Not just the part that processes ideas, but the part that knows without needing to explain why it knows. Nothing in your history has been wasted. Every experience that cracked you open, every moment that felt like falling apart, every period of loss or confusion or failure that seemed like it had no meaning. All of it was curriculum, coordinated preparation. The field knew what capacities you would need to receive this, and it built them in you through the only means available, direct experience of what you could not yet endure. The pain that built you wasn't punishment, it was training. The field needed you to know how to hold uncertainty without collapsing, to trust when all external evidence argues against trust, to release control when everything in you wants to grip tighter, to remain open when staying open feels dangerous. Those capacities cannot be acquired through reading about them or wishing for them. They are forged through being in the fire. You have been in the fire, and you came through with exactly what this moment requires. The breakthroughs were evidence. Every time something worked out in a way that defied logical explanation. Every synchronicity that delivered precisely what you needed at exactly the right moment. Every solution that arrived from nowhere. The field was not just being generous, it was building a record in your lived experience, showing you through accumulated evidence that intelligence operates in reality beyond what your rational mind can track or predict. You needed that record, so that when the deeper recognition arrives, you would not have to choose it on faith alone. You would know it through what you have already lived. The spiritual openings were upgrades, not peak experiences to remember fondly and then return from. Not isolated mystical events. They were recalibrations, the field raising your frequency incrementally, so that each opening brought you into a range where the next transmission could reach you. Lower frequency awareness cannot receive what you are receiving right now. The openings were not rewards, they were preparation. Each one expanded your capacity and tuned your consciousness closer to the range this transmission requires. The isolation was purification of signal, being pulled away from relationships that couldn't hold your depth, being separated from systems that were built on assumptions you no longer shared, feeling the growing gap between where you are and where the majority of people around you seem to be. That wasn't failure to belong. That was the field removing interference, creating a clean channel, free of the static that comes from constant immersion in lower frequency collective patterns. Your clarity is a direct result of that clearing. And I want to pause here and ask, Have you felt this extraction happening in your own life? Drop a comment below and tell me what it looked like for you. What fell away and what became clearer when it did? Share it. Your experience might be exactly what someone else in this community needs to hear right now. The trust you developed through synchronicity was not accidental. Every meaningful coincidence was a lesson. Notice, trust, move. The field was training your awareness to recognize its guidance before you had a conceptual framework for what that guidance was. Each time you followed an instinct you couldn't justify, and it led somewhere significant, you were being prepared. Because what comes now requires that trust operating at full capacity, not as belief, but as trained, earned, lived recognition. The acceleration of your life in recent periods was intentional timeline compression. The sense that years' worth of growth have been happening in months. That is not stress or overwhelm. That is the field moving your development at a pace calibrated to bring you to this exact point of readiness at this exact moment. You needed to be here now, not later, now. The speed was not a mistake. If what's moving through you right now is beginning to feel like something larger than a single video can hold, that's because it is. The complete system behind this transmission, the 9 master frequencies, the step-by-step practices for moving from unconscious separation into living as the field itself, is laid out in full in my book, Beyond the Frequencies, a quantum guide to consciousness mastery. What we're exploring here today only touches the surface of what's inside those pages. It's linked in the pinned comment below. There is one more thing about your past that rarely gets named in this kind of transmission, and it may be the most important thing to understand before you receive what comes next. The version of you that existed 5 years ago, even 2 years ago, could not have held this. Not because you were less intelligent or less worthy, but because the container wasn't built yet. The specific combination of experiences, losses, openings, and recalibrations that had to occur to make you capable of receiving this transmission was not yet complete. This is why timing matters so deeply in the field's architecture. You were not late. You were not ahead of schedule. You arrived at this moment precisely when the construction of your capacity was finished. Precisely when the vessel was ready for what is about to be poured into it. Look at your path from this vantage point. Do you see it? Every element chosen not randomly but precisely. Every experience building exactly the capacity that the next one would require. Every moment of breaking down creating space for the specific reconstruction that would follow. Your life has been architecture, designed by intelligence that knew where you needed to arrive and built the road accordingly. You didn't wander here. You were guided here. The entire curriculum has been leading to what is transmitted next. Read what follows slowly. Let it move through you rather than just through your mind. This is not information to be analyzed and filed. This is a transmission to be received and allowed to reorganize something fundamental in how you understand yourself. Here is what the field has brought you here to know. You are not a separate consciousness attempting to work with the quantum field. You are the quantum field itself, moving through a temporary localized experience of individuality. There is no space between you and the field. There never was. Every time you felt isolated, every time the universe seemed indifferent, every time you experienced yourself as a small individual trying to navigate a vast external world, that was real as an experience, but not as ultimate reality. It was the field experiencing the sensation of forgetting its own unity. It was consciousness using the veil of separation to explore what multiplicity feels like from the inside. That exploration is necessary. The field cannot know itself as one without first experiencing itself as many. The forgetting is not a mistake. It is the mechanism by which the field generates experience. But the forgetting was never meant to be permanent. And for you, right now, in this moment, it ends. This recognition is available to you because you have reached a threshold that most consciousness does not reach within a single lifetime. Not because you are superior to others, because you are ready in a way that is specific, earned, and precisely timed. Most people move through the full arc of a life embedded in the experience of separation, believing themselves to be isolated individuals navigating a world that is largely indifferent or random. That is a complete and valid experience of the field. But it is not the only one available, and you have reached the edge of it. What opens on the other side of this recognition changes everything. And I mean that in a literal, concrete, daily life sense. When you stop trying to manifest and start recognizing that manifestation is the field reorganizing itself through your intention, the effort drops away. You are not petitioning an external power. You are the intelligence that moves reality, consciously directing its own movement. When you stop searching for your purpose and recognize that you are the field's purpose, the way it explores its own nature through your specific configuration, the searching ends. When you stop feeling alone and recognize that solitude is simply the field in its individual mode, loneliness at its deepest root becomes structurally impossible. When you stop reaching outside yourself for guidance and recognize that guidance arises from within the unified awareness you already are, waiting for external signs stops feeling necessary. And here is something the original framing rarely makes explicit enough. The recognition doesn't just change your inner experience. It changes how you process time. When you are operating from the belief of separation, you experience time as a sequence of events happening to you. Past informing present, present creating future, all of it carrying the weight of continuity and consequence. When you recognize yourself as the field, you begin to experience time differently. The past no longer carries the same gravitational pull. The future no longer generates the same anticipatory anxiety. You become more capable of operating from the present moment as the primary locus of reality, because you understand at a cellular level that this is where the field actually moves. Not in memory, not in projection. Here, now. Always here, always now. This also changes how you relate to other people. When you meet others from within separation consciousness, you are always measuring, consciously or not, comparing, competing, evaluating where they sit relative to you on scales of status, intelligence, attractiveness, success. When you meet others from field consciousness, those measurements dissolve, not because you suppress them, but because the premise that generates them, that there are separate, competing individuals, no longer feels real. What you see instead is the field moving through a different form, exploring itself through a different configuration. You begin to recognize everyone not as other, but as expression. And that changes the texture of every relationship you carry. There is something else that shifts that doesn't get talked about enough: the way you relate to your own emotions. In separation consciousness, emotions are events that happen to you. Fear arrives and you are afraid. Grief arrives and you are lost inside it. Anger arrives and it defines your reality for however long it persists. The emotion becomes you, because within the separation model, there is only the individual self, and whatever that self is feeling, that is the totality of what is real in that moment. When recognition stabilizes, something changes. The emotions still arise. Field. Consciousness does not make you numb or detached. That would be its own form of disconnection. But you are no longer identical to the emotion. You are the field, and the emotion is information the field is generating through this form, for a reason, in service of something. Fear becomes a signal to be read, rather than a verdict to be endured. Grief becomes the field honoring something that mattered, rather than evidence that loss is the final word. Anger becomes clarity about what is not aligned, rather than an uncontrollable force. You are still fully inside the experience, but you are also, simultaneously, the awareness that holds the experience. Both things at once. That simultaneity is what field consciousness actually feels like from the inside. Has there been a moment in your life when you felt both inside an experience and somehow larger than it at the same time? Leave that in the comments. I read them, and that kind of reflection adds something real to this space. The chakram practices that stabilize this knowing are not complex, but they must be lived, not just understood. The first practice: return to recognition multiple times throughout every day. The simple, direct reminder: I am the field. The field is me. No division exists between us. This is not a mantra you're using to feel better. This is an accurate statement of what you are, repeated until the truth of it overrides the habit of forgetting. Set whatever structures support this. Reminders, notes, rituals. Whatever brings you back to truth more frequently than the habitual pull toward separation can take you away from it. The second practice: when decisions arise, stop consulting only the mind. The mind is a tool for navigation within the separation model. From field consciousness, decisions are accessed differently, through felt expansion or contraction, through direct knowing that arrives before reasoning begins, through the body's immediate response to the option at hand. An expansion toward a choice means alignment. A contraction away from it means misalignment. This is not mysticism. This is the field's native language, immediate, embodied, pre-analytical. Practice reading it, and you are practicing being what you are. The third practice: transform your relationship to difficulty. When challenge arises, shift the question from "Why is this happening to me?" to "What is the field encountering and learning through this experience?" That single reframe moves you from victim of circumstance to conscious participant in the field's self-exploration. And the shift is not just philosophical. It physically changes what becomes available to you in the situation. Resistance closes pathways. Curiosity opens them. The fourth practice: when separation feels real, when loneliness, disconnection, or the sense of being a lone individual against the world arises, catch the feeling without being captured by it. Name it. This is temporary forgetting. Not evidence of what is true. Not proof that separation is real. Just weather. Moving through. The feeling will not dissolve the instant you name it, but it will shift from identity to event. And that shift is the practice. The fifth practice: actively build your record of field evidence. Consciously notice the synchronicities. Acknowledge the moments when timing works in your favor beyond what planning could produce. Register the moments when something arrives exactly when it was needed. You are not doing this to convince yourself of a belief. You are training your attention to perceive what has always been present but was previously filtered out. The field's orchestration is constant. Learning to see it is a skill, and like all skills, it develops with practice. The sixth practice: Act on knowing even when you cannot explain it. When something clear arrives, a pull, a direction, an inner certainty, follow it, before the mind can construct a reason not to. Each time you act from knowing and witness the result, you deepen your trust in the field's intelligence over the ego's analysis. And that trust is the very thing that allows more knowing to arrive clearly. This is a self-reinforcing loop, but you have to start it by moving before you fully understand. The seventh practice. Make yourself a clear channel for what wants to move through you. Pay attention to what arises. The impulses, the ideas, the creative urges, the directions that call without explaining themselves. Give them form. Don't filter them through practicality or the judgment of others or your own ego's preferences about what should be coming through you. The field expresses its intelligence through the specific configuration you are. Blocking that expression doesn't protect you. It just creates static in the channel. Your role is clarity, not control. Now there is an eighth practice that doesn't often get named, but may be one of the most practically powerful of all. Learning to recognize the difference between field guidance and fear-based impulse. Not everything that feels urgent is field knowing. Not every strong desire is the field expressing itself through you. The ego generates urgency too. Urgent need for approval, urgent avoidance of discomfort, urgent grasping for security. The difference is not always obvious at first, but there is a felt quality to each that you can learn to distinguish. Field knowing tends to arrive quietly. It doesn't shout. It doesn't threaten. It doesn't require you to act from a place of panic or desperation. It simply remains present, returning again and again with the same clear direction, patient and unhurried. Fear-based impulse tends to be louder, more demanding, more conditional. If you don't do this now, something bad will happen. Learning to tell these two apart is one of the most important skills you can develop. Sit with an impulse before acting on it. Notice whether it expands or contracts when you breathe into it. Notice whether the urgency feels like clarity or like fear wearing clarity's face. The more you practice this discernment, the more reliably you can move from the field's intelligence rather than the ego's noise. Here is something worth understanding clearly, because it is often left vague in this kind of transmission. The reason this message only arrives once is not mystical scarcity. It is the mechanics of consciousness. Receptivity is not a permanent condition. It is a temporary alignment of factors: your state, your readiness, your life circumstances, the configuration of your awareness, that creates a window. Right now, that window is open. The field identified this configuration and delivered transmission through it. Tomorrow, the configuration changes. Not dramatically, not permanently, but the precise arrangement of openness that exists right now will have shifted. The window that exists at this moment will have closed. This is not the field being strategic or withholding. This is simply how consciousness operates. Think of a key and a lock. The key only works when the lock is in a specific position. You can have the key and you can have the lock, but if they are not aligned, the door doesn't open. Right now, they are aligned. The door is open. What happens next depends on whether you walk through it. Think of it as a solar event, a specific astronomical alignment that produces a phenomenon visible only from a precise location at a precise time. Miss the window, and the alignment has passed. The sun and the planets continue to move. Another alignment will eventually occur. But this one, with these specific coordinates, at this specific moment in your development, this one is singular. What closes the window is not time passing. It is consciousness reverting. The momentum that currently exists in your awareness is moving toward recognition. If you act on what is being transmitted, that momentum carries forward and recognition stabilizes. If you return to habitual patterns without acting, the momentum reverses. Not because you failed, because consciousness follows the grooves of repetition. Old patterns have deep grooves. New recognition needs immediate reinforcement to compete with them. The field delivers truth once to a given configuration. If that configuration receives the truth and doesn't move with it, showing the truth again to the same unchanged configuration doesn't serve the field's purpose. You must receive and act, or the window closes and a different path to recognition becomes necessary. Here is the piece that most people don't fully grasp until they've experienced it. The window closing doesn't mean the recognition is lost forever. It means the particular depth of receptivity you are carrying right now, this specific combination of openness, readiness, and activated awareness, will not return in quite this form. You can have other recognitions. You can encounter other transmissions. But each transmission lands in a specific configuration of consciousness and produces a specific depth of integration. The depth available to you right now is a product of everything you have lived, everything the field has orchestrated to bring you here, and the precise state of your awareness in this exact moment. That depth is what is at stake. Not whether you ever recognize yourself as the field, but how deeply, how completely, how permanently this particular transmission roots itself in you. Your individual recognition is not only about you. Consciousness is unified. It moves as one field experiencing itself through billions of simultaneous individual perspectives. When any of those perspectives reaches the point of recognizing what it actually is, that recognition does not stay contained within that individual. It enters the field itself and becomes accessible to others. Not through direct teaching or persuasion, through resonance, through the morphic pattern that gets established each time a single awareness crosses the threshold into knowing. The first ones to reach this recognition faced maximum difficulty because there was no established pattern to follow, no frequency in the collective field to entangle with. Each subsequent recognition makes the next one easier, not faster necessarily, but more possible. Less resistance, stronger signal. Your recognition right now adds to a pattern that is growing, and the implications of that growth, when it reaches critical mass, are not small. When enough individual points of awareness recognize themselves as the unified field, the collective field begins to shift. The organizing principles of human civilization, competition, fear, the need to dominate and control, those principles are all downstream of the belief in separation. They make complete sense if you believe you are an isolated individual in a world of scarcity and threat. They become structurally unnecessary when separation is seen for what it is, a temporary experience of the field, not its fundamental nature. This is not utopian thinking. This is systems logic. Change the premise and you change everything that is built on the premise. The premise that has been running human civilization is separation. The new premise is recognition, and it spreads not through argument or ideology, but through individuals embodying it, living from it so consistently and completely that others in proximity begin to access the frequency themselves. This is your contribution, not to teach, not to convert, to embody, to become so stable in field consciousness that it radiates outward as the natural frequency of your presence. Those who are ready will feel it and be moved by it, without you needing to explain anything. And here is what becomes possible when that embodiment deepens over time. You begin to function as a living demonstration of a different kind of power. Not power over others or over circumstances. Power as alignment. Power as the capacity to move with the field's intelligence rather than against it. People around you will notice something without being able to name it. Things will move around you in ways that seem improbable. Opportunities will find you. Resolutions will arrive. Complexity will simplify. Not because you are doing something special, because you have stopped creating resistance, because you have become permeable to the field's organizing intelligence, and the field is extraordinarily efficient when it has a clear channel to work through. That efficiency will show up in your life in ways that become impossible to dismiss, and the people who witness it will be seated with a question they cannot answer from within the separation model. That question is the beginning of their own threshold. Recognition without commitment is an insight that fades, and the field has done significant work to bring you here. It is now waiting to see what you do with what has been delivered. 3 commitments will anchor what has been transmitted into the living reality of your daily experience. Make them with full awareness. Speak them if you can. Write them down. Declare them in the comments below, because public declaration carries a different kind of weight than private intention. It signals to the field and to your own deeper consciousness that the transmission was received and that you are moving. The first, I commit to following the field's guidance over the mind's analysis. When direct knowing and logical reasoning point in different directions, I will move with the knowing. When my body expands towards something that doesn't make sense, I will trust the expansion. When synchronicity indicates a direction that my planning mind would dismiss, I will go in that direction. Field-guided, not ego-directed, even when the field's guidance is uncomfortable or unexplainable. The second, I commit to releasing, without clinging, whatever the field shows has run its course. Relationships that have completed. Work that no longer carries resonance. Identities and self-concepts that no longer fit the awareness I'm growing into. Patterns I can now see were always outgrown. I release them with trust, not because release is easy, but because I understand that the field removes only to create space for what aligns better with what I'm becoming. The third, I commit to acting on field knowing before I fully understand where it leads. When the guidance says move, I move. When it says wait, I wait. When it says begin, I begin. I give up the requirement of understanding the whole picture before taking the first step. The field's intelligence operates at a scale that individual perspective cannot fully perceive. I trust that intelligence more than I trust the ego's need for complete information before acting. These 3 held together form a functional system. Trust the knowing. Release what has completed. Move before the mind catches up. Return to these when the ego fights back, and it will fight back. It will generate fear about what happens if you trust something you can't control. It will manufacture doubt about whether what you're sensing is real. It will argue for delay. These are not signals that you're making a mistake. These are the ego's survival strategies in the face of a consciousness that no longer needs to be governed by them. Recognize them. Return to the commitments. The maintenance practice is simple. 3 returns daily, morning, midday, and evening, 2 minutes each. In the morning, establish. At midday, recalibrate. In the evening, integrate. Each session holds 4 steps, 30 seconds of active recognition. I am the field moving through this form. 30 seconds of feeling that as embodied reality, not just as thought. 30 seconds of checking what wants to express through you in the coming hours. 30 seconds of committing to one concrete action that honors that knowing. 8 minutes total across the day. This is what keeps recognition from reverting to memory. Take a moment now and comment below with this phrase: I am the field. I was always the field. Let that be your signal, not casual engagement with content, but an energetic declaration to the field and to yourself that the transmission has been received. A conscious interruption in the habitual loop, a marker in your development that you can point back to. You are not the same consciousness that arrived here. Something has shifted, deeper than thought, more durable than insight. And now the only remaining question is what you do with this moment while its momentum is still carrying you forward. If what's being transmitted here is landing somewhere real in you, if it's touching something that has been waiting to be named, then I want to invite you to subscribe to this channel. Not as content consumption, as a choice to remain in this frequency, to stay inside this conversation, to continue developing within a community of consciousness that is choosing the same thing you are choosing right now. This is a space for people who are done living from separation and ready to live from recognition. Act immediately, not tomorrow, not after you've had time to think about it. Now, while activation is strong, while the window is open, while the momentum is forward. The action does not need to be large. It needs to be real. Something that tells the field and your own deeper awareness. I received this. I know what I am. I am beginning now. Maybe it's saying the 3 commitments aloud. Maybe it's following one piece of guidance you've been sitting on. Maybe it's releasing something you've already known is complete. Maybe it's 5 minutes of sitting with, I am the field. The field is me. No separation between us. Whatever action anchors this recognition in the present moment, do it before you leave this space. Because knowing that isn't immediately acted on doesn't become lived reality. It becomes memory of an interesting moment. And when you comment below, drop one word. Don't choose it consciously. Drop into the awareness underneath your thinking and let the word surface. That word becomes an energetic signature, a declaration to the field that you were here, that you received, that you are moving. When you forget what you are, and you will temporarily, because that's how consciousness works, that word can return you. The field arranged everything that brought you to this moment. Your entire history has been a delivery system for this recognition. The coordination required for this to reach you at this precise moment of readiness is not something the field would spend unless what comes next is significant, unless your conscious participation matters, unless the role you are stepping into is real. Subscribe, not to stay connected to a channel, but to stay coherent within a frequency, to remain inside the conversation that continues to unfold here, and understand that the more of us who stabilize field consciousness within ourselves, the more the world reflects that reality back. This is how change actually moves, not through systems or ideology, through individual recognitions, accumulating, tipping the field. You are the quantum field moving through a temporary individual form. No separation exists. None ever did. Live from that recognition and observe how the reality around you begins to organize itself around a different premise. Not the premise of isolation and scarcity and struggle. The premise of unity, intelligence, and movement that serves. The field showed you this once. It showed you now. That is not accident. Receive it completely. Embody it without reservation. Become a living demonstration of what becomes possible when consciousness stops forgetting what it is. The transmission has arrived. What you do next is the only thing left. And consider returning to this video tomorrow morning, before the noise of the day begins, and letting it run again. Let it set the frequency before the world has a chance to. And if someone in your life is standing at the edge of this threshold, send it to them. When you share this transmission, you are not simply passing along content, you are extending the field's reach. The pattern of recognition strengthens with every new awareness that encounters it. You accelerate your own integration by reinforcing what you know, and you create the conditions for someone else's window to open. That is how the morphic field grows. The same intelligence that orchestrated everything to bring you here is also at work in your thoughts, in the way they shape and collapse reality around you in real time. Watch this next. This is why your thoughts become your reality instantly. If this transmission landed, that one will show you exactly how the field responds to the frequency you're already carrying.